Part 1. The account. The paper was not an apology. It was a grid, drawn with a ruler on heavy stock paper, structured with the cold efficiency of a bank ledger. Every row was categorized, every subtotal calculated to the penny, ending in a final figure double underlined in black ink. $925,000. My mother, Clara Vance, stood on my covered porch in a classic beige cardigan that smelled faintly of lavender and old cedar. At 33, I had not seen her face in 9 years. She carried a structured leather overnight bag and held that sheet of paper in her right hand like a summons. She didn't look at the manicured lawn of my home in Lake Oswego, nor did she glance through the sidelight window where the small winter coats of her grandchildren hung from low hooks. She simply looked at me, her eyes as clear and unblinking as they had been the morning she told me I was no longer her daughter. "We need to discuss the family's future, Iris," she said. Her voice lacked the tremor of an estranged parent seeking reconciliation. It carried the precise, modulated tone of a manager addressing a long-delayed logistical transition. "Things have shifted back home, and as a family we have to adjust." What Clara did not know was that I possessed a record of my own. For nearly a decade, while she practiced the art of absolute silence, I had been compiling an account. It lived in a heavy navy blue 3-ring binder in the deepest locking drawer of my study desk. It held no emotional prose or desperate letters. It held documentation. Every birthday card returned to my mailbox with a crimson postal stamp. Every text from my younger sister, Chloe, leaked by mutual acquaintances. Every formal notice of family events I was barred from attending. 29 distinct entries, each categorized, dated and verified. Clara had arrived with a ledger of what she believed I owed her. I was standing at the door with a record of exactly what she had done. To understand how a mother arrives at a daughter's doorstep with $1 million invoice after 9 years of total absence, you must understand the arithmetic of Oak Grove, Indiana. Population 2,400. It was a town framed by drainage ditches and grid-lined soy fields, where the air smelled of damp earth and grain dust from October through April. The social structure revolved around the Grace Baptist Church, the local cooperative elevator, and the small diner near the highway where the Formica booths had been worn thin by decades of work shirts. My father, Arthur, worked the primary line at the corrugated box plant on County Road 200 for 34 years. He was a man of absolute routine. He arrived home every evening at precisely 5:48, pulled his work boots off by the heel on the back porch and gave a single quiet nod to the room. He didn't argue, he didn't complain, and he didn't offer affection outside of a steady presence. Clara ran our home and the County Auxiliary League with identical military precision. She managed the annual fall festival, coordinated the neighborhood relief drives, and directed the church choir. She was the arbiter of social propriety in Oak Grove. If Clara Vance approved of a family, their children found summer work and their names remained on the prayer chain. If she frowned, the town quietly shifted its gaze. Then there was Chloe. 4 years my junior, Chloe was born with the kind of bright, easy charisma that small towns reward with absolute devotion. She was the festival princess, the cheerleader who remembered every name, the girl who could break a household dish and leave everyone laughing at her clumsiness. My parents adored her. My father called her his bright star. I was the counterweight. I was the quiet child who tracked the household propane expenses in a small notebook, scrubbed the iron skillets until they gleamed, and maintained a perfect grade point average without ever requiring a parent-teacher conference. I didn't resent the arrangement. I simply analyzed it. In the Vance household, emotional capital was a finite resource, and Chloe was the investment that received full funding every quarter. When I graduated from high school, I received a full academic merit scholarship to Indiana University. I was the first person in my immediate family to cross the threshold of a university campus. The morning I left, Clara packed my vintage suitcase and slipped a small card beneath the strap. It featured a watercolor image of an oak tree and her precise, looping handwriting on the back. "The roots remain here. Come back to us." I kept that card in my top desk drawer for over a decade. It was the final artifact of a mother who recognized me as her child. I met David Ellison during the spring semester of my junior year, in a basement seminar room dedicated to advanced macroeconomic modeling. He sat 3 rows ahead of me, wearing a faded gray sweatshirt from a high school track team in Cleveland. While the rest of the class struggled with multivariable regressions, David solved them with a steady, unhurried rhythm, his pen moving across the grid paper like someone writing a simple confirmation. He was a double major in systems engineering and applied mathematics, attending on a combination of working-class grants and nighttime tech support shifts. His mother, Evelyn, was a retired postal clerk who had raised David alone in a two-family flat near the rail yards. His father, a white man from the western suburbs, had departed before David's 5th birthday, leaving nothing behind but an old set of mechanics tools and an empty bank account. Evelyn had worked double shifts for 12 years to ensure David had a desk, a functioning computer and shoes that didn't pinch his toes. David was biracial, carrying his mother's deep, observant eyes and a quiet, deliberate posture that commanded immediate respect. He possessed a rare quality of attention. When you spoke to him, his focus remained entirely anchored to your words, analyzing the structure of your thoughts rather than preparing his next reply. Our initial encounter occurred at a small coffee stand near the main library. He paid for his black coffee with coins he had counted out on his palm. I paid for my Think about what this choice says about your respect for this family's place in the community. You are bringing an element into this circle that does not fit. He is my fiancé, Mom, I said. My father clicked onto the basement extension line. He cleared his throat once, a dry, raspy sound. Your mother has given you her assessment, Iris. We are in agreement. The line went dead. 48 hours later, a message from Chloe arrived on my screen. Mom hasn't left her room since your call. She missed the auxiliary planning session today. The whole church is asking questions. Are you satisfied with the damage? I didn't offer a defense. For the first time in my 24 years, the internal weight that usually accompanied my family's disapproval failed to materialize. I looked across our small living room at David, who was quietly reviewing an insurance policy for our tiny business entity, and realized that my loyalty had shifted to a different foundation. 2 weeks later, a formal envelope arrived at my apartment. It was heavy, cream-colored linen stationery, the paper Clara reserved for formal invitations and condolence letters to town officials. The script was written in her flawless copperplate cursive using a dark blue fountain pen. The document contained 4 paragraphs. The final section read, "Our choices define our boundaries. If you proceed with this arrangement, you are intentionally severing your connection to the Vance name and the values that built this home. We cannot provide our sanction, nor will we witness the event. If you cross that threshold, do not assume the door back into this family will remain open. He is not of our world, Iris, and he never will be. Choose accordingly." I read the text through 3 times, observing the precise margins and the steady hand that had tracked across the linen paper. My internal training as an analyst took over. I didn't tear it, I didn't stain it with tears. I placed it inside a clear plastic sleeve, dropped it into a fresh manila folder, and labeled it with a black marker. Correspondence Family Ultimatum. We were married on a clear Saturday morning in June at the Multnomah County Courthouse in Portland, Oregon, where David had secured a junior infrastructure contract. There were 12 individuals in attendance, consisting entirely of David's former university colleagues and his mother, Evelyn. Evelyn had traveled from Cleveland on a discount airline, carrying a vintage garment bag and a tin of homemade shortbread. She wore a simple navy dress, and before we walked into the magistrate's office, she reached out and pulled my hands into hers. Her skin was warm, lined with the marks of 40 years of manual labor. "You look beautiful, my dear," she whispered, pinning a single white orchid from her purse to my collar. "Welcome to the foundation. We build deep here." No father escorted me down an aisle. There was no aisle to navigate. There was only a clean, functional corridor with cream walls and a magistrate who mispronounced David's middle name twice before signing the certificate. Our reception took place at a small family-owned Vietnamese restaurant 3 blocks from the river. We joined 4 wooden tables together, ordered large platters of spring rolls and noodle dishes, and David's old roommate delivered a toast that caused Evelyn to laugh until she had to dab her eyes with a cloth napkin. My dress was a $150 silk slip from a resale boutique in the Pearl District. David wore a charcoal gray suit from a department store clearance rack. We looked like 2 young professionals managing an essential life milestone within the strict confines of a startup budget. Because we were. That evening, in our new, sparsely furnished apartment, I sat on the edge of the mattress and looked at my bouquet, a collection of $5 grocery store carnations. My hands shook slightly, not from an absence of resolve, but from the sheer, cold reality of the excision. The people who had recorded my first steps, who had signed my report cards and occupied the front row of my high school auditorium, had chosen to treat my existence as a closed account. The following Monday, I placed our official wedding portrait, a simple print of David and me laughing on the courthouse steps, into an envelope addressed to Oak Grove. I included a brief note: "We are established here. I hope time allows you to find some peace with our happiness." The envelope returned 11 days later. It had never been opened. Across my handwriting, a bold red rubber stamp read, "Return to sender. Refused." I studied that red ink for several minutes. The rejection was absolute, official, and legally noted by the United States Postal Service. I walked to my desk, pulled out the manila folder, and dropped the scarred envelope inside. I took a red pen and marked the corner. Item 02, Wedding Notice Refusal. Date, June 18th. That was the official opening of the binder. The initial 12 months were characterized by a dull, persistent ache that faded into a routine. I attempted contact 4 times over the course of that first year. Every call traveled directly to the household voicemail. I left concise, non-confrontational messages. "Hi Mom, it's Iris. Just providing an update. David's company has secured its first 3 regional contracts. I passed the primary section of my CPA exam. I think of you often. Please call when you have capacity." No return call arrived. I dispatched a card for Clara's birthday in August, Arthur's in October, and a neutral holiday card in December. All three returned to Portland within a 2-week window, each bearing the identical red rubber stamp. My father broke his personal silence exactly once. In late February, a text message appeared on my phone from his number. It contained 4 words: "Your mother requires time." There was no inquiry regarding my health, no mention of David, no follow-up. The 4 words remained on my screen like an uncollectible debt notice. That spring, Chloe posted an expansive album on her public profile. It showed a beautifully set dinner table in the Oak Grove dining room, laden with silver platters and fresh spring flowers. My father, Clara, Chloe, and her new fiancé were all raised in a toast toward the camera. The description read, "Sunday traditions with the people who matter most." I printed the high-resolution screenshot on our office laser printer. I didn't do it out of a desire to dwell on the injury. I did it because my professional training had crystallized into a defense mechanism. When a system excludes you, you document the parameters of the exclusion. By the end of our second year, the manila folder had grown clumsy and thick. I traveled to an office supply warehouse, purchased a heavy-duty, navy blue 3-ring binder, a set of reinforced plastic tabs, and a box of archival sleeves. I carefully cataloged each item, labeling them chronologically with red ink. Tab 1, Year 1. Items 1 to 7. I wasn't executing a plan for a dramatic confrontation. I was keeping the books. Financial analysts do not delete discrepancies. They preserve. I dispatched the formal birth announcements with professional portraits of the children. Refused. I sent a simple postcard featuring the twins' holiday photos. Refused. Items 13, 14, and 15 were entered into the navy binder. In the summer of our 4th year, a childhood acquaintance from Indiana sent me a direct message containing a cropped image from a private conversation thread. It was a message Chloe had sent regarding a local baby shower. The text read, "Iris made her choice to leave our community behind. Her children don't have a proper extended family or grandparents on our side, but that's the reality she constructed for herself. We don't discuss it." I sat in the twins' nursery for 12 minutes with that message displayed on my phone. Maya was asleep in her crib, her small hand curled into a fist. Leo was balanced on my lap, gripping my thumb with surprising strength. Through the open doorway, I could hear Evelyn in the kitchen, humming a low gospel melody as she dried the baby bottles. My children possessed an extraordinary grandmother. Her name was Evelyn Allison, and she had invested her life savings into ensuring her son could stand upright in the world. I printed Chloe's message, categorized it under tab 4, year 4, and labeled it with the red pen, Item 16, interpersonal disparagement by sister. By our 6th year, Core Compliance had migrated from the garage into a permanent brick-and-mortar headquarters in Portland's Pearl District. We employed 12 full-time engineers and 4 account managers. David maintained a 60-hour weekly schedule, still deeply embedded in the coding architecture, while I occupied the position of managing partner, supervising our cash flow, corporate contracts, and 5-year projections. The silence from the house in Indiana had become a structural constant in my life, similar to an old injury that only acts up when the weather shifts. Most days I didn't think about Oak Grove. My life was full, loud, and anchored by the rhythmic reality of 2 children entering elementary school and a business that required constant operational oversight. On an evening in late October, while reviewing our quarterly tax models, I opened a social media application. A public post from Clara appeared on a local community page. It was a collection of images from Chloe's formal wedding, which had occurred at the Grace Baptist Church, the same brick sanctuary where I had been baptized at 12. The images were opulent. 200 guests occupied the oak pews. Chloe wore a designer gown with a 9-foot lace train. Clara was dressed in an elegant lavender silk suit. My father stood beside the altar in a tailored wool tuxedo I had never seen before. The reception featured a 5-tier cake, an 8-piece live band from Indianapolis, and a midnight departure beneath a corridor of sparklers held by the town's prominent families. I had received no notice of the engagement. I had received no invitation to the ceremony. I discovered the milestone through a public upload 4 days after the invoices had been settled. I zoomed into the high-resolution image of my parents standing on the church steps. My father appeared noticeably thinner, his hair entirely white. Clara looked exactly as she had when I left, unlined, perfectly poised, her smile displaying the exact degree of social triumph required for the occasion. I didn't feel a surge of anger. I had exhausted my capacity for tears over Clara Vance around our 36th month of estrangement. I looked at the photo and felt only the cold curiosity of an auditor examining an offshore account. They had built a beautiful, closed ecosystem, and they were perfectly content without my name on the ledger. Against my better judgment, I visited an artisan boutique in downtown Portland the following morning. I purchased a set of hand-woven linen table linens, monogrammed with Chloe's new marital initials. I included a simple, elegant card. "Congratulations on your union. I wish you both a stable and prosperous life together. With respect, Iris." The parcel returned 3 weeks later. The shipping tape remained entirely intact, undisturbed. Across the address label, a thick black marker had been used to cross out my name, overwritten with Clara's sharp, distinctive handwriting. "Do not send seed to this soil. Returned. Item 17, nuptial gift rejection. Date, November 12th. I slipped the document into its plastic sleeve, clicked the 3 rings of the navy binder closed, and went downstairs to help Leo with his geography homework while David taught Maya how to properly season a cast iron skillet. They were my ecosystem. They were entirely sufficient. In our 7th year, the financial reality of our business entered a new trajectory. Core Compliance successfully completed its Series B funding round, securing $12 million from a prominent institutional venture capital firm based in San Francisco. I remember the exact moment the notification arrived. David was standing at our kitchen island, preparing a batch of weekend pancakes for the twins. His phone buzzed against the granite. He glanced at the screen, picked it up, listened for 40 seconds while nodding slowly, and then disconnected. He looked across the room at me, his expression remarkably calm. "The wire transfer has been authorized, Iris. The compliance documentation is cleared." Before the food on the griddle could cool, my mind had already processed the capitalization table. A $12 million cash injection at a post-money valuation of $68 million. David and I retained a combined 22% equity stake in the primary entity. We weren't merely liquid. We had transitioned into a realm of capital that I had previously only observed in institutional prospectuses. I formally resigned my position at the external accounting firm that month, stepping into the role of Chief Financial Officer for core compliance on a permanent basis. For the first time, my signature appeared alongside David's on every SEC registration and institutional banking framework. We were equal partners across every asset we owned. We relocated to a 4-bedroom historical colonial home in Lake Oswego. It sat on a half-acre lot surrounded by mature Douglas firs, featuring a deep backyard where the twins built an elaborate tree fort, and a kitchen anchored by a large concrete island where I could review our monthly financial reports while they completed their evening reading. Our funding round received a modest mention in the regional technology press. A major industry blog published a brief 4-paragraph overview of our platform's growth, and 2 national financial newsletters included core compliance in their weekly roundup of emerging corporate compliance solutions. It was highly technical news, the kind of data that ordinary consumers slide past without a second thought. But someone in Oak Grove, Indiana, did not slide past it. 14 days after the funding press release went live, a text arrived from my old school friend, Sarah. "Hey Iris, this is out of nowhere, but your mother approached my aunt at the county market on Tuesday. She was asking very specific questions about David's company. She wanted to know what a Series B signified in corporate terms. She mentioned you were doing well out west. Just wanted to give you a heads up." I studied the text while sitting in my office. Clara Vance had not uttered my name in 7 years. She possessed no understanding of venture capital structures, but she possessed an instinct for shifting numbers. The value of my world was rising, and Clara was a meticulous manager of assets. That winter, I dispatched what I knew would be my final attempt at seasonal contact. I prepared our holiday card, but inside the envelope, I included a single unedited photograph of Maya and Leo at their school's autumn festival. They were wearing matching plaid jackets, their faces painted like tigers, Leo missing his 2 lower teeth, Maya laughing so hard her shoulders were hunched. On the reverse of the print I wrote, "They are 7 now." They ask about their history. I tell them that some branches grow far from the yard. I expected the routine red stamp within the typical 11-day shipping window. The envelope returned in 9 days. However, as I lifted it from our mailbox, I noticed an immediate irregularity. The paper flap had been sliced open with a letter opener. The crease was prominent. The envelope had been resealed along the seam with a single neat strip of clear cellophane tape. I held the paper up against the bright winter sun. The card remained inside. The photograph remained inside. Someone in that Indiana household had taken the blade, removed the image, held the likeness of my children in their hands and looked at their eyes. Then someone else had ordered the item returned to the post office. My father had opened it. I knew his cautious nature. Clara had discovered the breach and enforced the boundary. I sat at my desk and recorded the entry. screenshots of the entire family dialogue before they dropped me. I'm forwarding them to your private email right now. You need to see what they are engineering. The notification chimed on my monitor before she could finish her sentence. 7 high-resolution image files arrived in my inbox. I sat in the silent room, the evening shadows stretching across my desk, and opened the first file. It was a transcript of an unfiltered Vance family consultation. Chloe, Friday, 2:14 p.m. His core equity valuation was listed at $68 million in the tech logs. I've been tracking their corporate registry filings through the state portal. If they proceed to an initial public offering next year, the capitalization will clear $300 million easily. Her share alone is worth tens of millions. Clara, Friday, 2:40 p.m. How do we initiate a formal approach? She has ignored our boundaries for years and she won't respond to standard family overtures. Arthur, Friday, 3:02 p.m. Perhaps I should call the Portland office directly. Test the ground. See if she maintains her old respect for her father. Clara, Friday, 3:15 p.m. Absolutely not, Arthur. A phone call allows her to disconnect without consequence. She has a financial mind. She must be approached with an organized framework. A real proposal. Chloe, construct a comprehensive ledger of our current regional liabilities. Be explicit about the figures. She is an analyst. She responds to structured numbers. Chloe, Friday, 3:45 p.m. I'm compiling the spreadsheet now. We start with the outstanding balance on the home mortgage, then Dad's medical treatment bills from his cardiac incident last spring, then the projected retirement gap for the next decade. Plus, my son's private academy tuition fund. We title it Family Capital Realignment. If we present it as a structural family obligation, she'll see the logic. She always was obsessed with balancing the books. Clara, Friday, for 10 p.m. I will deliver the framework in person. She needs to face her origin. I will go after the Thanksgiving holiday. I sat in my leather chair for 22 minutes, watching the blue light of the monitor illuminate the room. The details were stunning in their cold precision. There was no expression of regret regarding the 9 years of absolute silence. There was no inquiry about my children's development, no remorse for the wedding portraits stamped with red ink, no acknowledgement of the pain they had cultivated. There was only a calculation. A calculated assessment of an asset that had grown too valuable to leave unharvested. I stood up, walked to my printer and generated crisp physical copies of all 7 screenshots. I pulled the navy blue binder from its locked drawer, opened the rings at the very back under tab 9, and inserted the pages. I took my red pen and wrote the final line on the index sheet. Item 29, Intercepted Financial Conspiracy and Extortion Framework. Date, November 14th. I closed the binder. The audit was fully prepared. Which brings us back to the beige cardigan, the leather overnight bag, and the paper grid containing the figure $925,000. May I come inside, Iris? Clara asked, her voice steady against the damp winter air. It's quite cold out here and we have a significant amount of ground to cover. No, Clara, I said, keeping my hand firmly on the edge of the heavy oak door. I didn't use the title, Mom. That title had been cancelled by a red rubber stamp 9 years ago. We don't have ground to cover. We have a settlement to conclude. Her eyebrows narrowed by a fraction of a millimeter. The only sign that her corporate composure had encountered an unexpected variable. I am your mother, Iris. I understand that we have experienced a period of profound disagreement, but family survival requires us to rise above past emotional conflicts. Your father's health is compromised, Chloe's family faces significant regional pressure, and you have been blessed with extraordinary, disproportionate liquidity. Blessed, I repeated, my voice dropping into the flat, unvarying register I used when terminating an underperforming corporate vendor. Let's look at the actual ledger of that liquidity. I stepped back into the hallway for 3 seconds, retrieved the navy blue binder from the console table where it had been waiting since Sarah's phone call, and stepped back onto the porch, pulling the door shut behind me. Clara's eyes fixed on the heavy blue volume. She recognized the meticulous organization instantly. It looked exactly like the corporate ledgers she used to manage for the town auxiliary. 9 years ago, you drew a line on cream linen stationery, I told her, looking directly into her face. You stated that David was not of your world and that if I walked down that aisle I would never walk back through your door. Do you verify that document? That was a different era, Iris, she said, her voice tightening. We were protecting our structural standing in Oak Grove. I have the document right here, I interrupted, flipping the binder open to tab 1, item 01. The pristine linen stationery gleamed under my porch light. And here is item 02, our wedding photograph returned by your hand marked refused. Do you recognize the ink? Clara remained silent, her lips pressed into a thin, pale line. Let's slide through the subsequent quarters, I continued, turning the pages steadily. Here are 4 consecutive years of birthday cards and holiday greetings, all returned with official postal rejections. Here are the birth announcements of your grandchildren, Maya and Leo. Children you explicitly stated in writing had no proper grandparents on my side. See item 16, a verified transcript of your daughter Chloe's text message. Iris, this is incredibly petty behavior, Clara said, her voice rising, losing its smooth cadence. You are weaponizing minor social friction while your family faces genuine financial strain. No, I said, my voice cutting through her defense like an audit directive. I am presenting the documentation of an account that you closed. You liquidated your investment in me 9 years ago. You filed the paperwork. You processed the cancellation. I turned directly to tab 9 and held the open binder up to her face. The high-resolution screenshots of their encrypted family group chat were unmistakable. Chloe's spreadsheet breakdown was displayed in stark black and white clarity. Clara's face lost its remaining color. Her hand dropped slightly, the grid paper wrinkling against her fingers. You didn't come here because Arthur has a heart condition, Clara, I said, my voice dropping to a whisper that felt heavier than a shout. You came here because Core Compliance secured a $68 million valuation, and you calculated that my compliance mindset would force me to settle your invoices. You thought I was still trying to balance the books of your approval. We are your blood, Iris, she whispered, her eyes widening with a sudden, genuine panic as she realized the absolute failure of her strategy. You cannot simply delete your origin. My origin is sitting at a wooden table in a Vietnamese restaurant, eating $5 noodles with a woman named Evelyn Ellison who loved me before she knew my net worth, I told her. I took the grid paper from her hand. She didn't have the strength to hold on to it. I folded it once, neat and precise, and slipped it into the very back of